I have no idea what they say because I haven't looked at them. So let me go ahead and pull them up. I believe we got one sent last week around the 28th. I don't know if I went over it or not. It says 1.2 is a video question. Number 1, number 11 in the online homework. So 1.2, number 11. Did we cover this one? Yes or no? Looks like we did. But let me pull up the handy dandy.
Yeah, I think we did.
We did.
Okay, did we go over or not? Raise your hand so I can see, because that's what I got pulled up right now. Did we cover it? Okay, I got 1 or 2 people. Okay. Okay, we did cover it. All right. Mainly put this in your calculator. Just in case somebody wasn't here, I'm going to go ahead and just go over it quickly. Let's pull up the calculator and then pull up the question and the calculator. There we go. And I'm just going to type it in. I may still have it in there. Y is equal, nope, to 0.0. This is a calculator drill for those that weren't here when we went over it. X squared plus minus 4.83t minus 4.83t x plus 206.77. 206.77. And then graph it. I've got my stat plot turned on, so let me turn it off from another class. Second stat plot, turn off, and graph. There we go. There's what the graph looks like. Of course, it's a very wide graph, so it looks like a satellite dish. As you can tell, you got that part right. In 2004, well, in 2004, let's take 2004 minus 1990. Excuse me. Corona about to kill me. 14. So we got to find x is equal to 14. So we hit shift, table. Shift table. And x is equal to 14. And your answer should be 14.442. 14.442. And they said go to the 1,000. Okay, 14.42, round to 3 decimal places. So that'd be 14.442. That should be your answer. Now, anytime you need to set the characters in your window, you go to, or the table, go to table set, and you can set that up in here. You can set it up to be 0.001, or you can set your calculator to go to 4 digits or 5 digits. You could do that. You can go to mode and set it to 5 digits. You could do that and go to table, second table. And it may not do it in the table. You may have to set it in the table. See, there's 14.442. Okay. All right. Is this a test question? It possibly could be a test question, but it's more of a calculator drill than it is a test question. I usually don't give calculator drill questions on the test because most people know how to use a calculator. So, all right, next question I got is 1.3 BE. I have no idea what BE stands for, but 37. That's in the book. Number 14 online. First of all, is it a test question? Let me look and see. Oh, I can tell right now it's probably not. too wordy. For tax purposes, a business depreciates its $720,000 building using straight line depreciation over 18 years by reducing its value by 1/18 of its ready value. So that's like the slope. That's like the rate of change right there, 1/18. If we assume that the value of the building can be found or estimated at any point in time during this period, the value of the building is a linear. So I would graph that if I was you. So let's graph that because I have no idea what the question's asking, but we're going to graph that. So I'm going to go to my handy dandy calculator and I'm going to graph y is equal to negative 40,000x plus 720,000. Now, a lot of you say, well, Hubert, why did you write it like that? Because nobody writes it the way it's written. I don't know why they've started doing that the last couple of years in books, but nobody writes an equation 720,000 minus 40,000x. Nobody. So I don't know where they're getting that from. So let me finish deleting this, which will probably destroy the whole problem. Yep. Because if you hit delete, it'll start backspacing. So let me just redo it. Negative 40,000x plus 720,000. I'm going to go ahead and graph it just to see what it looks like. With the 720,000 y intercept, it's probably going to be way the heck up there. So let's just go ahead and see a zoom fit. See if it'll do a zoom fit. There we go. Okay, now you could do a trace. You could hit trace and you could find X values for, in 5.5 years, it's going to be 500,000 or whatever it's depreciating. Okay, at 10 years, that's close, 9.99, that's 10. At 10 years, it's going to be 320,000. So in 10 years, the value of that property or house or whatever is going to be about half. Okay. So you can find half of 720 is what? 360. So if I wanted to find when it's going to be about half, I go up till I get to 360. And in about 9 years, it'll be about half. So that's what they're going to ask you to do. They're going to ask you to read this graph. So at the beginning of 18 years, so x is equal to 18. So let's find x is equal to 18. I must be missing something. Y-intercept 720,000. Oh, what is the meaning of the y-intercept? Okay, at the beginning of the depreciation, the building is worth 720,000. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't read the question right. Okay, the x-intercept is 18. That's what we're looking for now. At 18 years, from wherever they're measuring, it's not going to be worth very much. And that's what it's asking right there. Use the intercepts to graph this function. Well, we just did right there. So it should look like, if I plug in 0 now, they're asking you to do it by hand. Okay, so we're going to do it by hand. So I'm going to get rid of this, pull up the handy dandy document cam, fix the resolution, and hold on a second. The Russians have been in here. Cats. All right. So in this case, they give you the formula. The formula is y equal to negative 40,000 x plus 720,000. So there's the actual formula. And as I said, I don't know if we talked over the intercept method, but the second method of graphing is called the intercept method. And you draw a big table, and x-intercept, 0 is y. The y-intercept, 0 for x. And I don't care if you're in math, science, marketing, business, I don't care what class you're in. If you want to find the x-intercept, you plug in 0 for y. If you want to find the y-intercept, you plug in 0 for x. And that's the way it's done, and that's the way it always will be done. So that's what they're trying to get you to learn here by hand. So negative 40,000. No, I'm sorry. So y, so that'll be 0 is equal to negative 40,000 x plus 720,000 minus 720,000. That's equal to negative 40,000. Divide by 40,000. And somebody do that math for me. That negative cancels, these thousands cancel, and you're left with 720 over 401 is equal to x. So somebody tell me how many years that's going to be when we hit the x-intercept. Somebody give me a decimal, or I'll do it. That's okay, because y'all won't tell me. Y'all just sit there. So here we go.
7955.
Thank you. I appreciate the interaction. I'm going to go ahead and do it so everybody will see it. Divided by 401. 1.79551. 1.79551. So the x-intercept is 1.79551. And of course, 0 for x will give you 720,000. I'm not gonna do that, but that's pretty self-explanatory. Y is equal to negative 40,000 times 0 plus 720,000. Sorry, hold on. Move that out of the way. Let me just get rid of it. And that goes out. So the y-intercept is equal to 720,000. Or you can just graph it with the calculator and match it up. Yeah, however you want to do it. So we know if we wanted to graph it, and it's going to be looking like that. So I would say, you know that 720,000 is your y-intercept, so it has to be D. Because it's only one with a y-intercept of 720,000. And we're right at 18 years, right? A little bit above 18 years. So it'd be 18 plus 1 would be 19.79 or something like that. It's an okay question, but probably wouldn't be a test question. Okay, so how far did we get with the review or chapter 1? How far did we get? Did we do the parent graphs, or what did we do? Somebody help me out.
We got the 1.3. I don't exactly remember what specific part.
Okay, 1.3. Hold on just a second.
But I think we were about to be on 1.4.
Okay, you broke up. You thought we were about to what?
Go on 1.4.
Okay. So let's look. I want to look at the outline here in just a second because I want to keep everybody should be looking at the outline because it should be right beside you, right beside your notebook while we're doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up right quick. And the reason I have to do this with y'all is because of 110 and 111. Okay, there we go. Equations of lines. We should have gone through. I don't know if we gone through. Have we gone through slope and point slope equations? Have we done that?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because 110 we have. All right, so let's go over that. And I'm going, and this is still a review. So let's go ahead, and I'm just going to check to see right quick if it's like the 110 going through point slope equation and slope and perpendicular and parallel. Just want to make sure right quick. My session has ended. Well, hell, I hadn't even started yet. It's nice to know that your session has ended and you hadn't even started yet. Whatever. So, anybody have an interesting weekend? Any good movies? There ain't no good movies on. They should have never killed off Iron Man. All right. 6.2, 6.3. I'm looking to see what we got here. Yeah, y is equal to mx plus b. Yeah. Yep. That's what we're doing. I thought that's what we're doing. So let's look at parallel and perpendicular, and we feel good about ourselves. Average rate of change is nothing but slope. So here we go. In algebra, you can find the slope and you can calculate the slope. Okay, hopefully some of y'all remember. Of course, some of y'all invented the slope, but most of y'all hopefully remember that you can find the slope by solving for y. And of course, the m is your slope. And not only m, but you also got to remember that the sign of the slope tells you a lot also. So you got to remember the sign also. And in this case, the sign is positive because there's nothing there. But you've got to remember that that m has a sign in front of it. Okay, so if I have y is equal, or 2x plus 4y is equal to 6, then I know I got to solve this for y because the directions say find the slope. And I would do, okay, that's 4y is equal to negative 2x plus 6, divide by 4, divide by 4, divide by 4, and y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 3/2. And at that point, I know that I have a slope of 1/2, which means 1 vertical over 2 horizontal, and I have a negative slope, which means that it is going from left to right. In business, it means you're losing money. If it was a positive, that means you're making money. All right, so there's a difference between the negative and the 1/2, and you need to start making that difference now because you can't just say, oh, that's a negative 1/2. No, the negative means something. Okay. Calculating the slope, however, is when they usually give you 2 points. And they might give you 2 points on a graph. They may give you 2 points algebraically, just written out. And you got to calculate the slope. Calculating the slope calls for us to use the slope equation. M is equal to delta y over delta x, which means the change in y over the change in x. And that's the slope equation. Okay. So if I do give you 2 points, 1, 2, 6, and 4. I give you 2 points. We read from left to right. X of 1, Y sub 1. X of 2, Y sub 2. Plug and chug. Parentheses minus parentheses over parentheses minus parentheses. I'm going to tell you, like I tell the Math 111 class and the Math 109 class, I've got 3.5 degrees, 3 3/4 degrees. All right? I got 3 3/4 degrees. If you walk up to me just out of the blue and ask me to calculate the slope, I'm going to use these parentheses. So that means every one of you that don't have degrees need to use parentheses. Why? Because they're not always going to be nice positive numbers. Sometimes they're going to be decimals. Sometimes they're going to be fractions. Sometimes they're going to be positives. Sometimes they're going to be negatives. Okay? So I would highly suggest that you use parentheses. All right, Y sub 2 is 4, 2, 6, and 1. 4 minus 2 is 2, and 6 minus 1 is 5. So the slope of the line that goes through 1 and 2 and 6 and 4 is 2/5. Now, the second part of this is finding an equation. So I'm going to move this up. I'm going to fold this. Dang old origami. I'm going to fold this. And the second part of this type question is called find an equation. Now you're going to see find an equation a good bit in your application courses like business, marketing, science, and math. Okay, find an equation. Find an equation uses the point slope equation, which is y minus y sub 1 equals m times x minus x sub 1. That is the point slope equation. Write that down. Point slope equation. Does anybody know why it's called the point slope equation? Anybody? Now this is not rhetorical. This is where I want y'all to interact with me. Does anybody know why it's called the point slope equation?
Because you plug in the points to find, I can't think of the word.
The equation.
Yeah.
You plug in the point and a what? You plug in a point and a what?
Slope.
Okay, hold on. Y'all are chatting with me. Hold on. I got to switch screens when that happens. I wish they put it in. Okay. Parent graphs, we finished them. Okay. I thought we went over some graphing things. Didn't we cover graphing a little bit, like the first 3 methods of graphing?
Yeah, we did the linear.
Okay. Okay. All right. So in order to use the point slope equation, as you said, you've got to have a point and a
slope.
Good job. I tell you, I can't do anything with y'all. Y'all are on the ball. A point and a slope. So I've got my slope right here. So m is equal to 2/5. And I'm going to pick a point, 1, 2. Now, why did I pick 1, 2? I could have picked 6, 4. Why did I pick 1, 2? Good job, Ms. Sanchez. That is correct. Why did I pick 1 and 2? There's a method in mathematics called the KISS method. Can somebody tell me what the KISS method stands for?
Closest numbers together?
Yes, keep it simple. I could have used 6 and 4, but that's just bigger what?
numbers.
Bigger numbers. Now, if you like whips and chains, then go ahead and pick -5 and -1/2. If you want punishment, then do that. But the KISS method dictates 1, 2. That's what I would pick. I got to do something. That vodka and fluoride. Oh, that's rough. All right, so that's a joke. All right, so y minus parentheses equals parentheses times x minus parentheses. Again, I use those parentheses to this day. And we read from left to right, so that's x of 1 and that's y sub 1. Plug and what?
Y minus 2.
Plug and chug and solve for y. So do that. Give y'all a minute or give y'all 30 seconds to do that. So that's going to be y minus 2 is 2/5. Oh, we might as well forget it. Why? Because we got a fraction in the problem and we can't do fractions. So y'all might as well just quit, right?
Right.
Go ahead and say it. You might as well just quit. Or erase the 2/5 and make it a 2, right? Then you can do it. Y'all not very talkative today. Somebody mess up y'all's cornflakes this morning. I would say the other, but I would offend somebody.
I got it loud and clear.
Okay, good. So y minus 2 is equal to 2/5 x minus 1. And now I'm going to distribute that 2/5, and I'm going to go to the next page. Hold on, I'm doing origami again. The things I do for y'all. So y minus 2 is equal to 2/5 x. This is where y'all are supposed to stare at the problem for 5 minutes. When you get to this point, you're just supposed to stare at it. Minus 2/5, and then you stare at this because you don't know what to do here because this is a whole number and you don't know what to do, so you just stare at it for a little bit. Y is equal to 2/5 x minus 2/5 plus 10/5. And then you sit there and say, where do you get the 10/5? Well, you shouldn't ask that. You should know where that comes from. Y minus 2/5 are equal to 2/5 x minus 2 plus 10 is what? 8/5.
Yeah.
And that's your answer. Okay, now what we've done, one, we've just went over how you find the slope. We've went over how you calculate the slope. And then what happens when you want to find an equation? Well, they're going to give you, or they're going to give you 2 points, and they're going to say find an equation, or they're going to give you this, a point and a slope, point and a slope. And they're going to say find an equation. This will be in the directions. Okay, a lot of people say, well, I don't know when to use what. Well, in this case, the directions tell you what to do. Find the slope, solve for y. Calculate the slope, use the slope formula. Find an equation, you use the point slope equation. Okay, now, are these used in business? Oh, yeah. These are used in business. So a lot of you that's going toward business calculus, you're going to see this again. Okay.
That's actually good information. Thank you.
Say again.
So that's actually good information. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I guarantee you some of y'all out there went, Oh gosh, I forgot how to do that. Okay, now some more rules. When y is equal to a number by itself, like y is equal to 2, y is equal to 1/2, y is equal to -3. If y is equal to a number by itself, then it is parallel to the x-axis. Therefore, it is a horizontal line. If it's a horizontal line, that means that the slope is equal to 0. So you need to write that down because y'all are going to forget it. So y is equal to 2. And we'll do y is equal to 2. We'll color that this turquoise. Y is equal to 2. So that means 1, 2. And the line looks like that. Things I do for y'all. Orange. Y is equal to 1/2. There's 1. 1/2. And y is equal to -3. We'll do that in a verde color. Y is equal to -3. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to go through a little drill with you because this is the kind of question you will see on a test or a standardized test. Okay? So I'm going to take my on this one right here. When x is equal to -4, what is y? 2. When x is equal to +2, what is y? 2. All your y values are 2 on this line. That's the kind of question that they're going to ask you. And you're going to sit there and stare at it because you don't understand what it's asking. When x is equal to -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, what is y? 2. When x is equal to 2, 1, 2, what is y? 2.
2.
That's why it's a horizontal line. You got to see that. Okay? I'm not trying to insult anybody's intelligence, but the way that they ask the question on the test, especially on a standardized test, it does confuse students. Here, when x is equal to -5, what does y equal? 1/2. When y is equal to +2, when x is equal to +2, y is equal to 1/2. Same thing with the 3. If x is equal to +100, what is y equal to? Y is equal to -3. When x is equal to -100, y is equal to -3. You gotta learn that because the way they ask the questions, you got to know that when y is equal to a number, that means every single value of y for that number, no matter what the x is, the y is equal to that number. Same thing for x is equal to a number. Now I want you to deduce and use a little bit of common sense. If y is equal to a number parallel to x, then what is x equal to a number? If y is equal to a number is parallel to the x-axis, then what is x equal to a number parallel to?
Y-axis.
You are on the ball. Y-axis. So that means, therefore, a vertical line And that means, therefore, M is undefined. So x is equal to 2, x is equal to 1/2, x is equal to -6. And I'm just going to draw those. I'm not going to do colors. I'm just going to draw them. X is equal to 2. 1, 2. There's your line. 1/2. And x is equal to -6. That means no matter what y is, what is x always going to be? X is always going to be either 2, 1/2, or -6. So if I asked you on this last problem, if y is equal to 100, what is x? X is going to be -2, or here it's going to be -6. What about if y is equal to -10? X is going to be equal to -6. Good job. So that is 2 rules that you might see on a test. And basically the reason you need to know it is because they're very simple problems. It's just the way that they write them sometimes you can be confused. And then the last rule of 1.4 will probably be perpendicular and parallel. Perpendicular and parallel. Perpendicular and parallel. The rule for perpendicular is m sub 1 times m sub 2 is equal to -1. That means that the slopes of 2 lines, if they're perpendicular, the slopes are the opposite sine of each other and they are reciprocal of each other. And I always have to check to see if reciprocal is spelled right. Somebody check that for me because I'm not an English teacher. Sometimes I do mess up. Okay, reciprocal of each other. Okay. So if this is 1, if this is 1, this is -1. If this is 2, this is -1/2. If this is -3, this is +1/3. Okay. So in order for 2 to be perpendicular, they have to be the opposite reciprocal of each other. The opposite sine and the reciprocal of the first slope. And you're comparing 2 lines. You're comparing 2 equations. Okay, so when you're doing this, you usually are comparing 2 lines / equations. Okay, so if you're doing a test and then they say, find out if this is parallel or perpendicular, you usually got 2 lines that you're comparing. Now, the 2 lines can be, one's an equation, the other one is 2 points. It could be one is 2 points, the other one is 2 points, or it can be one is a line, the other is a line, and you have to do the actual mathematics. But you will be comparing 2 lines some way, somehow. Parallel lines, the slopes are what? Can anybody answer it? Can anybody answer what the 2 slopes are for parallel lines? Okay. They are equal. The same. Good, Miss Hollister. That is correct. Okay, so that means they're equal, but they have different y-intercepts. Why do you have to say that? Because if you have the same slope and you have the same intercept, what are they? The same line. Same line is not parallel. Same line is just one line. Okay, so you got to have a different y-intercept. And that's not, I don't have to write anything like this because that's pretty self-explanatory. So a couple of examples. If I gave you y is equal to 1/3 x plus 2, and y is equal to -3 x plus 6. Well, you would know from there, by looking at the two slopes, 1/3 and -3, that this line, these two lines, are perpendicular. Because what's -3 times 1/3? -1. Okay? What about y is equal to 3x plus 6, and y is equal to 3x minus 2? Well, the slopes are equal. So if the slopes are equal, the line is parallel. It's either one of the two. If it's not one of these two, then it's something different, like just two lines intersecting, or it can be two lines going in different directions, or whatever the case may be. Now, that's not the confusing part. Usually, most students can compare two lines. They just solve both of them for y, and they compare the m's. But that's not where students get confused. I'm going to show you where students get confused. And it'd probably be best to show you by looking at the homework, because I don't want to make one up, because sometimes when I make problems up, I usually end up making them too hard. So I'm going to go to your handy dandy homework or study plan, and we're going to pull up a couple of questions. Chances are they're probably, good gracious, what is all this? Okay, this is the first time I've ever seen this. So I have no idea. This is parallel perpendicular. I don't know what this is. Use the slope and y-intercept sliders. Sliders? Ooh, interactive. Ooh, look at there. That's neat. Parallel, slope, y-intercept, there's one. And then slope is, look at there. That's neat, I like that. Show second line. Oh, yeah. Gmail. Y'all know I'm playing, don't you? Okay. So there's the parallel line, because the slopes are both equal to 1. Now, if I was to change the slope to a -1, okay, well, they're parallel. Oh, perpendicular. There we go. That's neat. I like that. Okay, I'll quit playing. I'm sorry. Okay, so those are interactive questions. I like that. That's one of the new additions for this new MyLab Math. See, MyLabs Plus didn't have that. Okay, I'll shut up. Let me see if I can get to a question. Let's see. Those are word problems. Let's go back. Probably right before the word problems. Ooh, we're going to go over that. That is very important. If one point in a line and slope is what I define the y-intercept, is that it? That's all they're going to give you?
Yeah, I was working on 1.4 and I got to answer 14 and I just didn't know how to solve it.
Okay, I'm trying to find. Okay, here we go. There we go. There we go. This is the question I'm looking for right here. Passing through. Find an equation of the line with the following intercepts. X-intercept -8 and Y-intercept 7. Okay, well, you just arbitrarily find an equation of the line with the following intercepts. Okay. X-intercept of -8. Okay, let's do this one. This is a nice one. All right, so this is kind of one where you're just given the intercepts. So you have to do a little bit of critical thinking. You have to graph it. So I'm going to take my handy dandy line maker here. Give me a second. There we go. And I'm going to draw a BA graph. And I know I've got a x-intercept of -8. And we've got a y-intercept of 7. Okay, so 0, 7, and -8, 0. Somebody tell me what we have. We have 2 what?
Points.
We have 2 points. Good. So if we have 2 points, what can we find? If given 2 points, ... you can find
Slope.
the slope and the what?
Equation.
And the equation. To do that, I'm going to give y'all a couple of minutes to do it, because I got to make sure that those people that can't do it, I got to discourage y'all as much as possible. So, all right, put you on a stopwatch, give y'all added pressure too. If I could stand behind you and look over your shoulder, I would do that also. So, you ready? Get to it. I want you to find the equation and the slope of that line, since I put it in perspective, because some people would sit there and look at that problem and not know what to do. But now that you've got a graph, you know what to do. You're finding the equation for that line. And you're going to feel good about yourself. No good movies. I'm going to have to pull up Direct and see what kind of movies they're showing for free, not free, but see what kind. I did watch Kevin Bacon's last movie. That was pretty good, where he was seeing his own shadow. That was pretty good. I like horror movies, so I'll shut up. Nobody's going to talk to me. I'll talk to my cats. They done left me too. Speaking of math, have y'all noticed, did any of y'all look at the new numbers that the CDC has put out?
Yeah, I have.
Interesting numbers, don't you think?
I would say so too.
Very.
Yep, 6%. And some of y'all are going, what are they talking about? What's the CDC? Just don't even say that. Just don't even ask that, because if you're above the age of 18 and you don't know what CDC stands for in 2020, then just don't say nothing, okay? Okay. Okay, I'll give y'all another 50 seconds.
CDC.
And no, it's not a cartoon character
No, yeah, I
on
know
a
it's
Disney film. But you can ask about Disney films and everybody can tell you, but you ask something about current events and Patrick Starr trying to order at the Krusty Krab. Squidward and Plankton are my favorite characters. Thank you very much. Okay, stop. So if you weren't able to do this problem, then you're pretty much a failure in life. So here we go. X sub 1, Y sub 1. Wait a minute. Was that a laugh I heard? Well, that was a laugh. Oh my gosh. Whoever that was, you better be quiet. These other people are going to jump on you. You're not supposed to laugh. X sub 2, Y sub 2. You're supposed to be weaned on a pickle. Sit there with a sour face, not talk. All right, so here we go. I think I heard it again. All right, M is equal to, I guarantee you there's somebody in there that these people laughing, they just piss me off. Y sub 2 minus Y sub 1 over X sub 2 minus X sub 1. So that's going to be 7 minus 0. And what? 0 minus a negative 8? Oops. I get 7/8. What do y'all get? Just like the wrench.
7/8.
Good job.
Yeah,
Now, what do
I got
we
a quick
have?
question.
I'm sorry, what?
Can I ask a quick question real quick?
Yeah, sure.
So does it matter which point you label X1 Y1 or X2 Y2 or?
No, you still get the same answer, but one of the reasons I tell students, and this is not to, make fun of you or your question. I tell students, which way do we read?
Left to right.
Left to right, unless you're from the Middle East, Masalama. Unless you're from the Middle East, we read from left to right, okay? So if you are from the Middle East, then I would tell you to read from right to left, because this would be X sub 1, Y sub 1. This would be X sub 2, Y sub 2. And I would tell you to follow what you're used to doing. Regardless, you should get the same what?
Okay.
Answer.
Thank you.
Okay? But the reason I do it like this, Mr. Melnick, is for 12 years, students have been reading from left to right. And that's why I do it this way. Okay?
I appreciate it.
Masalama means go in peace. We didn't know a bit of Arabic when we went over to Saudi Arabia, so they taught us Masalama. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Masalama. Anyway, so now we've got a point and a what? Slope. I'm going to pick 0.7. Why am I picking 0.7? Because it doesn't have a negative. So I'm going to pick 0.7. There's my point. X sub 1, Y sub 1. This is part 1 of the question. This is part 2. And I'm calling this X sub 1, Y sub 1 because this is another part. M is equal to 7/8. And now I'm going to plug and chug into the point slope equation. Y minus parentheses equals parentheses times X minus parentheses. Y minus 7 is equal to 7/8 X minus 0. Can't believe they gave y'all a 0. That's too easy. Make sure not to put this one on the test. Y minus 7 is equal to 7/8 X. because 7/8 times 0 is 0, and then bring the 7 over. Y is equal to 7/8 x plus 7. And you feel good about yourself. So you don't have to put smokestacks on your pickup truck. Okay? Or ladies, put too much makeup on. Guys, when you ever meet somebody that's got too much makeup on, run in the other direction. Okay?
You didn't
Because
have
they will take a bath in your headlights. Okay? How do you tell if they got too much makeup on? They look like a Oompa Loompa. They got an orange face and a white neck. Oh my gosh! There was another laugh.
Most of the stuff
Okay.
you're saying's funny.
Well, good. You're supposed to laugh. Sense of humor. Let's develop that. I guarantee you somebody's in there. This ain't this math. It's not comedy hour. Okay. So now let's do it. Let's do that. Let's type that in. The equation of the line is 3 because Hubert's too lazy and I just want to get the answer. 7/8 x plus 7. It's a miracle. Just to reiterate, 7/8 x plus 7. All right, so let's do number 14. I think you said you couldn't get past. I guess this is number 15, okay? And this is the one that I was showing you. This is the one that I do both, okay? I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, I do both. I do parallel and perpendicular. Now we're going to draw a picture on the top. Let me get my handy dandy. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. And we're going to draw a picture on the top of this. First of all, we're going to solve for y. No, let's see. To graph this, we're going to solve for y. So I'm going to graph this just to show you what's going on. So we've got a passing through point and parallel to the line whose equation is, okay, so we've got -3 and +2. -3 and +2. So there's my point. They give us a line right here, right up under my, right up above, 8x minus 9y minus 7. So I'm going to write that over here, and I'm going to solve that for y. So 8x minus 9y minus 7 is equal to 0. 8x minus 9y is equal to 7. Negative 9y is equal to -8x plus 7. And -9, -9, -9. So y is equal to 8/9 x plus or minus 7/9. Okay, that's not an easy one, but it's, so m sub 1 is equal to 8/9. So that's going to be a -7/9. -7/9 is less than 1. So I'm going to put it right there. 8 up, 9 over is positive. 8 up, 9 over. So it looks like we got some kind of line with the equation right there. Everybody with me? This is 8x minus 9y equals 7. 8x minus 9y is equal to 7. All right, everybody understand that's the line. Now what they're wanting an equation of the line that goes through this point. And I'm going to give you the equation for the green line. And I'm also going to give you the equation for the orange line that is what? Perpendicular. I'm going to do both. Now, should you do both when you're doing your homework? Yes. When you do one of these questions right here, I would suggest that you do both. If you do both, then by the time you get to the test, all you got to do is just pick which one you need. And you got it. You got it. All right, so I'm going to fold this in half. And I'm going to put this at the top of the page. And then I'm going to bring the page back up. And we're going to do the parallel and the perpendicular line. So the first thing I would suggest you do is draw a BA table. And on the top of this table, right here, we'll put, this is how you start the problem. 8x minus 9y is equal to 7. 8x minus 9y is equal to 7. And you do your algebra and you solve for y, and you get y is equal to 8/9 x minus 7/9. And over here, we're going to do, in green, we're going to do parallel with the point being, what's the point? -3, +2. And the reason, I don't know if y'all can see this okay. I don't know if I should turn my light on, because right now it looks like a freaking tornado outside. So hold on. Let me turn this on. Does that help or is, no? I think it's better to turn it off. Yeah. My ceiling fan has a light on it right above the projector, the document can. Yeah, it looks rough outside. I don't know about where y'all are at. Does it look rough outside where y'all are?
Well, I'm in Oklahoma and we had a big storm last night, but
Oh, well, y'all out there freaking dadgum Wizard of Oz country out there.
clicking my shoes back together.
Yeah, click your ruby red. Oh, it's just pouring. Anybody in here live in Anderson? It looks pretty rough outside.
Yeah, there's nothing at the Anderson campus right now.
It's raining at Greenville.
Yeah, it looks pretty rough. That dark sky with a little bit between the horizon, that dang old tornado looking weather. All right, so here we go. Oh, I think this thing has a light on it. I think it does. Because it's dark right now in this room that I'm in, and y'all can see this, so it must have some kind of light on it. All right, so there's my parallel and my perpendicular. I do both. I don't care what the directions say. I'm going to do both. So perpendicular, comma 3, 2. And what is the rule for parallel lines and their slopes? That means I want y'all to answer me. I just gave it to you not 5 minutes ago. I'm moving some stuff around. Okay, nobody's going to help me out. Nobody's going to tell me. Okay. She had to turn her light on. Miss Sanchez had to turn her light on. Yeah, it looks, I'm looking on my back deck right now and it's pouring. I didn't know it was supposed to rain. Okay, I didn't look at the weather. So down here, what's my M supposed to be compared to this M for a parallel line? Right now, I'm pulling the paper that I showed y'all 5 minutes ago. For parallel line, Ms. Sanchez, you said negative. That would be for the perpendicular. What do the parallel lines, what are the slopes supposed to be?
The same.
The same. So that means, what is my green slope going to be? My green slope is going to be 8/9, Hubert. That's right, class. Good job. And somebody tell me what my orange slope is going to be. You were correct, Miss. Okay, Miss Hall is correct. Good. And Miss Sanchez was correct with equals. And Miss Sanchez was half right when she said negative, but that was perpendicular. Perpendicular is negative. But what is the reciprocal of 8/9?
-9/8.
So negative 9/8. So somebody tell me, what do I have here? What is that called? That green thing right there. That's a point and a what? I'm pointing at this now. A point and a what?
Slope.
Slope. So what are we going to use in this area right here? Point slope equation. What do I have here? I have a point and a slope. I'm going to use the point slope equation here and find two equations. Now the question only asks for one, but I'm doing two to kill two birds with one stone. So here we go. Y minus parentheses equals M times X minus parentheses. Yeah, it's coming down pretty hard here. I'm going to, while y'all are doing these two green and orange lines, I'm going to see. I'm a weather geek, okay? I'm a math person. I'm a science person. I have to see what's going on. See if there's like a big-ass piece of red over us or what.
Maybe there's a tornado over here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, probably. Oh, my. Clemson's getting it. Clemson's yellow, and it's just over this area. And Anderson, we're fixing to get a red splotch. Oh my goodness, somebody's playing music.
Actually, that was the Wizard of Oz Twister scene.
Okay. Okay, you are weird. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyway, yeah, Anderson, Sandy Springs, let's see, what time is it? 11 o'clock? Yeah, Sandy Springs, Clemson, Central, all the way down to Homeland Park down there, getting hammered. And right where I'm at, we're fixing to get some red. That yellow is turning red, so that means it's probably going to die. But they'll write it down as corona. If I die of, a limb going through my skull, they'll call it corona. All right, so y minus, and we're going to put a 2 right here, and a 8/9 right here, and a -3 right here. And now we're going to solve. Y minus 2 equals 8/9 times X plus 3. Y minus 2 is equal to 8/9 X plus 3, excuse me. The 3 and the 9 will cancel, and that leaves 8/3. And then bring this over as 6/3. And y is equal to 8/9 X plus 15/3, which is what? So 8/9 X plus 5. Oh, that's not right. 14/3. There we go. I said 8 plus 6 is 15. That's not right. 8 plus 7 is 15. All right, so that's that one. Y'all check me, make sure I did that right. And then over here, y minus 2 is equal to -9/8 times X minus a -3. And that's going to be y minus 2 is equal to -9/8 times X plus 3. And that's going to be y minus 2 is equal to negative 9/8x plus be a minus 27/8. And bring this over as 16/8. I'm running out of table and paper. So y is equal to negative 9/8x minus 27 plus 16. Somebody help me out. What is that, negative 11? I'm sorry. It would be negative 11, wouldn't it? Minus 11/8. All right, somebody check my, oops. Yeah, that's right. That's supposed to say negative 9/8 right there. If you can't see it. Question, gripe, complaint. All right, I better stop because some of y'all are going into convulsions. So let me hit that and hit stop recording. Now I'm probably not finished. I want to go through a couple of more of these.